Still confused about output routing on your Behringer X32? Well, in this video, I'm going to be talking specifically about the output page on your Behringer X32. Now, this is part of a whole series that I've made all about routing on your Behringer X32. So let's check this out. So what we want to do is we want to hit our routing button and then use our page select to page all the way over until we get to our patch points and get to our out page. Now, this represents our 16 outputs on the Behringer X32. Now, by default, outputs 1 through 16 is default routed to the XLR outputs that are on the back of your Behringer X32. Now, if you have a Behringer Compact or Producer, you only have 8 XLR outputs on the back of your X32, meaning that 9 through 16 would need to be out on a stage box of some sort. But if we go back to our output, this allows us to pull really from anywhere on the console that we want to. And there's our different categories right here. So for instance, my output 1 is currently from Mixbus 1. And we can see right here that it's set to post fader. Now this is really important because if this is not set to post fader, if it's set to something other than post fader, then when I go and adjust the volume of my Mixbus 1 up and down, it's not actually going to change the volume on this output, which is very bad. Now this is completely independent of our Mixbus being a pre-fader. So we can see that my Mixbus 1 is pre-fader, which is important for a monitor because I want to be able to control what channels actually go to this as well as the volume. As far as all the categories that we have for our outputs is we have our main left right, our 16 Mixbusses, 6 Matrices, and then we have our direct out of our channels 1 through 32, as well as our auxes 1 through 8, 7 and 8 being our USB playback. We also have direct out of all of our effects, left and right, our monitor left, our monitor right, and our Talkback. So these are all of the different things that we can assign to all of these outputs. Now the other thing that I want to mention here is this invert. This inverts the polarity of this output. So for instance, if we had a XLR that was wired incorrectly and we were getting a polarity inversion on that XLR, what we could do is we could just go ahead and press this invert and then that would invert this polarity of this output. Now the very last thing that we have is our delay. Now our delay is important because if we had, say, some lobby speakers that we were needing to delay, what you could do is you could estimate the feet distance between your main PA and those lobby speakers. So for instance, if it was 100 feet away, what I can do is I can press delay and then I can adjust this until this top number gets to 100 feet, like so. Now, we would want to make sure that our timing is actually set correctly instead of just the distance, but this is a rough way of dialing in a delay for, say, a lobby speaker, that sort of thing. Now, by default, your Behringer X32 is going to have 7 and 8 if you have a smaller version of the X32 set to your main left and your main right. And then 1 through 6 would be Mixbusses. So Mixbus 1 through 6 would output on 1 through 6, 7 and 8 would be the main left right. Now, if you have a full-size X32, 1 through 14 are going to be your Mixbusses. And then 15 and 16 are going to be your main left right. Hopefully this helped.